thanks for joining me here at Storytime. I am Christine and I work at the Ada Community Library. So let's get started. I want to start out with this story, Six Foolish Fishermen. It's a silly tale by Robert D. Sansuki. And I have had special permission by him. Here we go. What are they doing? Let's find out. There's their names: Pierre, Jean, Jules, Jacques, T. Paul, and Philippe. They're silly. Oh, and illustrated by Doug Kennedy. Need to do a shout out for the person who wrote the characters, drew the characters. Down in the bayou country of Louisiana, there once lived 6 friends named Jules, Jacques, Jean, T. Paul, Philippe, and Pierre. They loved to go fishing together. They would take their 6 little pirogues out into the bayou at sunrise and fish for barbu or bass or succolat until sunset. They would sing, "A little piece of pepper in the gumbo made with fish. That a thing, that's good. That a thing, delish." It's this right here. It's a little bobber. Has anyone gone fishing before? Do you know what a bobber is? It lets you know that a fish is taking a little bite of that worm. But one morning, when the friends got to the bank of the bayou, they found that 3 of them, T. Paul, Philippe, and Pierre, had brought their fishing poles, but no bait. The other 3, Jules, Jacques, and Jean, had remembered to bring bait, but they forgot their fishing poles. How silly. "Manon, we are too foolish, us," cried Jules. "Now none of us can go fishing, 'cause there ain't one of us has both a pole and bait." Now, down on the bayou, they have a little bit of an accent is how they're talking. That's why I'm talking that way. They were about to return home when an old grandmaman came along the path. She carried an empty basket that was on her way to town. She heard the friends talking and said to them, "You don't gotta end the day 'fore it begins. The fellas with fishing poles ought to give 'em to the fellas with the bait, or the fellas with bait ought to give it to the fellas with poles. One way or another, 3 of you can be fishing." She continued on her way. But Pierre said, "Why can only 3 men be fishing? If 3 of us get our baits to the fellas who got poles, then 3 can be fishing. If 3 of us give our fishing poles to the fellas who got bait, then 3 more can be fishing. Since 3 and 3 make 6, all of us can be fishing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 3 men with the bait handed it to the other 3. At the same time, the 3 men who had fishing poles handed them to their friends. Now Jules, Jacques, Jane had fishing poles, but no bait, while T. Paul, Philip, Pierre had bait, but no fishing poles. "That foolish old woman," cried Pierre. "Well, even if we can't fish, we can still row out and eat breakfast. That's the best part of fishing anyhow, and I'm hungry me." So the 6 anchored their pirogues on the water, but to their dismay, they found that T. Paul, Philippe, and Pierre brought only crawfish pies, while Jules, Jacques, and Jean had brought only flasks of coffee. Let's see what's going on here. They began to cry because none of them could have a proper breakfast of crawfish pies and coffee. At that moment, the grandmaman returned along the bayou path. When she heard the men complaining, she shouted to them, "If 3 of you with pies give to the ones with coffee, and the 3 with coffee give to the ones with pies, you can all have fine old meals." Then she went on her way again. Philippe said. "Let's try what the old woman told us, though she was wrong before." So Jules, Jax, and Jean gave their flasks of coffee to their friends, and Thibault, Philippe, and Pierre handed over their pies. But the result was that 3 of them still had nothing but pies. But the result that 3 of them still had nothing but coffee, while 3 had only pies. "We must never listen to that old woman again," cried Pierre. "She crazy, her." They look a little frustrated. Since the day was now spoiled, they decided to return to shore and go home. But T'Pol suddenly leaned over the side of his skiff and carved an X with the scaling knife. "What you doing?" asked Pierre. "This looks like a good fishing place," said T'Pol. "So I marked the spot to find it again." Pierre roared with laughter. "T'Pol, you goosehead, you! Suppose you don't be able to come here tomorrow. How the rest of us gonna find this place?" "I didn't think of that," admitted T'Pol, scratching his head. "Lucky for everyone, I smart," said Pierre, tapping the side of his head with his finger. "Me, my friends," he called to the others. We all gonna mark this place so we can find it anytime." He carved an X on the side of his pirogue, and the others marked their boats also. Satisfied that they could each find the spot again, they rowed to shore. Those silly fishermen. But when they had drawn their pirogues onto the bank, Pierre said, "We must count ourselves to be sure we're all safe." So they lined up while Pierre counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because he didn't include himself, he exclaimed, "I only count 5. One of us is missing and must got drowned." The friends were very upset. At first they couldn't believe it, but each took a turn counting, and each failed to include himself. So they always counted 5, not 6 fishermen. Silly fishermen. Oh goodness. They all dived in again and again into the bayou to look for their lost friends, but each time they came out, whoever chanced to count found only 5 wet fishermen. "I sure don't see anybody in the water," said Jax. "Maybe a gator got him." "I don't see no gator," said Jules. "Well, if we don't see them both," said Jean, "that proves the gator ate our friend and the gator got gone. No use searching anymore." Then Pierre said, "Now we know one of us got himself ate by a gator, but we can't go home till we figure out who got it. I'm gonna point to each of you and say your name. That way we can find who ain't here." One by one he pointed to the men. In turn they called out, "Jules, Jax, Jean, T'Pol, and Philippe." "Did anyone call Pierre's name?" asked Pierre. The other 5 shook their heads. Oh, he cried. "If none of you called Pierre, then it must be me fall in the bayou and get it up." "Oh, goodness, Pauvre Pierre," cried the others. "Poor Pierre." The 5 friends laid Pierre down on an old blanket from T'Pol's boat. Then they sat weeping for their friend who had to be numbered among the dead because he had not been counted among the living. Oh, my word. While they were mourning, Pierre's wife, Henriette, came looking for him. "Pierre, what you doing?" she demanded. "Silly woman," her husband said without opening his eyes. "How can I answer when I'm dead net?" "You getting crazy in the head," she exclaimed. "How can you be dead when you be talking to me?" But he refused to say another word to his widow, So Henriette asked his friends what had happened, and they explained that Pierre must be dead, since their count had always come up short, and no one called Pierre's name when he counted noses. My goodness. Henriette shouted, "Pierre, open your eyes." "Have respect for the dead, you," he warned, but he opened one eye. Then Henriette said, "Go and stand by your friends and let me count you all." "This is no way to treat the dead," Pierre grumbled, "but I doing it just to prove you a widow now for true." When the fishermen lined up, Henriette counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They all exclaimed, "We're 6 again!" "Maybe so," said Pierre stubbornly, "but how we knowed this number 6 would turn up so mysterious ain't a stranger." Sighing, Henrietta told the men, "When I point to you, each of you say your name. Jules, Jax, Jean, Teapot, Philippe, Pierre, c'est moi. It is I got returned from the dead." His friends gathered around him, crying how wonderful it was to have him back among the living. They thanked le bon Dieu, the good Lord, for this miracle. They said goodbye to each other and hurried home to their beds, worn out by the day's adventure, and each fisherman fell asleep, dreaming of the happiness he'd find the next morning, fishing with his friends on the bayou while they sang together. "A little piece of pepper in the gumbo made with fish. What a thing that's good, that a thing delish." Look at those houses. The end. Awesome. I have this little box here. It's called my Wonder Box. Let's see if we can get into it. Somebody wants to say hi and show you some fun stuff. Oh, hello there, little friend. Hello. It's Victoria. Say hi to Victoria. Hi, guys. Hi, Luna. Victoria has some of her things in here she wants to show you. And it kind of goes along the story that we have just heard. What is this, Victoria? What is this? What does that look like, guys? What does that look like? Is that your fishing pole, Victoria? Are you going to catch fish and release them? Yes. Oh, my puppies are getting excited. What else do you have in here, Victoria? Oh, I see this. This is really cute. Look at that, Hammy. Let's show everyone at home. What is that? That's our little baby doll. It's a troll. All right, what else do you have, Victoria? Ooh, here's Mommy's toy. Mommy needs that when her fingernails get broken. And I don't want to scratch anything, especially my face. It's called a nail file. All right, I'll put that down because I need that. And, oh my goodness, here we go too. Oh yes. This is Cinderella's fairy godmother's magic wand. Boop. Boop. I like to pretend with this. Victoria does too. Beautiful wand. Down. Oh, and here's something else. Victoria and I made together. It is a little person. Can you guess what it's made of? Victoria will show you. It's her favorite. It's made with pipe cleaners, pieces of straw, and beads. And you can bend it to make it stay wherever. You can write on little Miss Victoria if it wants. It's fun to make things out of stuff. There's a lot of crafty things that you can do. I encourage you to have fun with crafts. Thank you, Victoria, for showing us this wonderful toy we made together. Let's see what else. Ooh, this one's really pretty. This one's her treasure. Luna's interested too. Here's a coin, a beautiful coin. Victoria really likes that. Don't you, Victoria? She does. Beautiful. Thank you, Victoria, for coming out to say hi. Alright, let's put all of your toys back so that we don't lose them, because we don't want to lose your precious toys. I'll keep the nail file for myself. Bye, superhero. Bye, little trolley troll. Bye, magic wand. Don't want to lose that, so I'm going to let you hold on to that, Victoria. And bye-bye, fishing pole. Thank you. Okay, Victoria, I'll come back and play with you in a little bit. Just stay there in the wonder box and don't run away. All right. We have the next book here. The Widemouth Frog. You see the theme we're going with here. Frogs live in the bayou and other water. This is by Keith Faulkner, and illustrated, who draws the pictures, is Jonathan Lambert. Oh, sorry. And and I wanted to do a shout out to the publisher that makes all of these for the libraries to circulate and for parents to own for their children. Dial Books for Young Readers, Penguin Books publishers. The Widemouth Frog. And guess what? Surprise, it's a pop-up book. Woohoo! Here we go. Oh my goodness. I'm a widemouth frog, and I eat flies, said the Widemouth Frog, shooting out his long, sticky tongue. Look at that. And what's on the top of that, tip of that? A fly. Oh boy. As he hopped along, he met a blue-feathered bird. I'm a widemouth frog, and I eat flies, said the Widemouth Frog. What do you eat, bird? I eat wriggly worms and slugs, replied the bird, snapping his pointy beak. Look at, when you close it, it just goes right back in place. So it looks like a regular book. Next, the Widemouth Frog met a furry brown mouse. I'm a widemouth frog, and I eat flies, said the Widemouth Frog. What do you eat, mouse? I eat crunchy seeds and juicy berries, replied the mouse, wriggling her whiskers. Look at those little whiskers. Look at the fly. And there's the seeds and juicy berries down below. Oh, what else are we gonna eat? Ooh. The Widemouth Frog was still catching flies when he saw a big green alligator. I'm a widemouth frog, and I eat flies, said the Widemouth Frog. What do you eat, alligator? I eat delicious widemouth frogs, replied the alligator, showing his sharp white teeth. Look at those teeth. Whew. What's gonna happen? Widemouth Frog stopped catching flies and gulped. Then he puckered his lips, made his mouth as small as possible. Look at that, so tiny. Oh, you don't see many of them around, do you? He said. And he leaped into the pond with a splash. You like that, Luna? My pups are really enjoying story time too. Alright, that was a fun book. And can you guess what this is right here? 5 green frogs. And we're going to sing a song. I'm sure you probably know it. Let's hope I don't mess up. You just sing along at the top of your lungs if you know it, okay? 5 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One fell into the pond where it was nice and cool. Now there are 3 green and speckled frogs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are only 1, 2, 3 green and speckled frogs. 3 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are only 1, 2 green and speckled frogs. 2 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there's only 1 green speckled frog. 1 green and speckled frog sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Now he's got them all to himself. He jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green and speckled frogs. Thanks you guys for joining me for story time, and I will see you soon. Make sure and visit the library and check out many, many books. Bye.